I'll just quickly go through. This act also provides for linkage of the online record with the village account also. You know, traditionally we had this Pahani, but somehow after the Dharni came in, the Pahani stopped. Now that Pahani or the modified Pahani is going to be derived from the online system, so that there is some annual record which is maintained at the village level or in some form. There's also provision for going to civil court also under the act if you are not happy with any entry, and there is an aspect of title in it. One can actually go to civil court. One also important feature of this is it also provides for limited regularization of Sada Bainama. Many of you would be aware that there was large-scale collection of Sada Bainama applications just at the time when Dharni Act was coming into force. It came into force on 29th October 2020. So sometime from, if I'm not wrong, about 11th or 12th of October till about 9th of November, there was a provision to submit Sada Bainama transactions online. And we got nearly about 9.5 lakh such applications all over the state. But then it was stayed by the High Court saying that the Dharni Act didn't provide for that provision, either for clearance of the pending applications on the date at which came into force, and also for collection of application after it came into force. So because of that, this was stayed. So this act provides for a limited provision of clearing those applications, that is, which are received during that time and which are before 2nd June 2014, that is the state came into force. And also there's an aspect of there must be at least 12 years of possession which must be proved to get that done. So that's why this is a safeguard, so that it should not be misused. So since now the act has been notified, we are in the process of forming rules under the act. Again, this is something which was missing under the ROR Act of 2020. The rules were never notified. Even for the 71 Act, the rules came in 1989. So almost after a period of 18 years. And in last 4.5 years, the rules could not be prepared or notified under the 2020 Act. But under this, we have already started forming the rules, and we expect in around a month and a half time for the rules also to be notified under this Act. And parallelly, the existing Dharni portal is also being improved into new form. So there will be a twin track which will be happening. The existing portal is now being maintained by NIC. So we are improving on that portal. And parallelly, we are also wanting to develop a completely new portal, which will happen parallelly, because you can't stop the present portal. So probably in a period of about 9 to 12 months, we expect the new portal to be ready, and then it will be switched. But till that time, the existing portal will be modified, improved to handle the present system, and also improvements which are required under the Bharti Act. The government also is planning to bring in again a village level functionary. This was something which was abolished. So a village level functionary at the village level. We have got some 10,954 villages, revenue villages all across the state. So we're trying to have some village level functionary at that point, so that there is a support to the department as to what is happening at the ground level, and also support in terms of inquiries as well as implementation of the orders. Another thing which we are now working on is also utilizing modern survey techniques for ensuring that our survey maps are updated. Now it will also happen in two parallel tracks. One, as I mentioned, through the registration, new survey, the survey and the subdivision maps will be attached to the registration document from a date notified by the government. Parallelly, we are also wanting to take up the task of resurvey or survey of missing areas. I'll skip this because this is a more detailed comparison. So as I mentioned, the maintenance of the Dharani portal is now handed over to NIC, and I'm happy to say that the transition has been very smooth. There were some initial hitches which have also been resolved, so the portal is now functioning well, and we intend to take up continuous improvement of that portal, as well as I mentioned, developed a completely new portal in the parallel. And this is something which we are very, very strongly working on. So I stop here, and if there are any questions, I'll be happy to answer. Sorry? Section 7. Yeah. Can you give him a mic? Yeah.
I have a question on section 7. So how the Tahsildar knows how many legal hairs involved in that transaction? And in your example, out of 5, the 3 may be misinterpreted that there are only 3. So how that person verifies that?
So it's a very, very good question. One of the ways is that the details of the family members, there was a concept of family member certificate which was abolished here, but in Andhra that is still in force. So if you have the details of the family members, more often than not, you will not miss. But if you do not have a provision for any inquiry, you're much more likely to miss than if you have some mechanism. So we will create that mechanism to do that. But the legal provision is now under the Act. Yeah.
Sir, the biggest problem with Dharani was the basis of the records. Because earlier actually there is a transition and in the card system, records were continuously updated, but we don't know actually whether the same data was taken by Dharani or not. So suddenly the sellers' names were appeared in the as owners, and some of the names, if it was purchased by the company name, original name of the owner came into Dharani. So how all these issues were addressed in this?
So again, this is something which is very true. The reason for that was in the legacy systems, that is, I would say previous to 2020, many of the purchasers were not doing mutation in the revenue records. So when mutation doesn't happen, the latest entry does not reflect that. So when the system was switched over to Dharani, the existing manual record was taken up. There was an attempt to quickly improve it. I think over a period of 1 to 2 months, there was a program called LRUP, Land Records Updation Program. But it happened, I would say, not in an entirety. So the legacy data was ported to the Dharani system. And that's how those problems happened. But I can confidently tell you now is that we are increasingly seeing not too many problems relating to that, because now we have this system in public domain for 4.5 years. So more or less those problems have been identified, and to my knowledge, because my parameter is the complaints which I receive or the number of applications which are pending in the portal. There are very, very few issues now left regarding that aspect.
So my question is, the legal heir certificate will be getting from MRO or from the family court?
See, the legal hire certificate per se is only through a court.
Okay.
But there is a concept of family member certificate. Right. A family member certificate can be given by a revenue authority